there has been all kinds of stories looking as if there is going to be an implosion in the People's Democratic Party. Everybody has been under threat, and Wike, who contested the PDP presidential primaries and lost out, came second to Atiku Abubakar, who bagged the ticket, became the beautiful bride, being wooed by everybody, and Port Harcourt became a maker of sorts. But again, a lot of persons have said you can't dispense with Mike. He has electoral value. You must court him. You must woo him. You must so much out there in the public space. People feel that he's aggrieved and that the party hurt him. The party betrayed him. The party, everything seems to be working for him. I don't know what your thoughts are. Whether you share those sentiments.
Well, for me, the injury that Wike is nursing is a self-inflicted injury, and it has just one person to blame for that, and that is himself. You see, I say this with every sense of responsibility. I was active, in the last 3 years, campaigning for Nigeria president of Igbo, or at least in the southeast, or at least Igbo extraction. And Wike stood against that campaign, and he lost the ambition of flying the flag by himself, in outright disregard for even express provisions of the PDP constitution. You see, the PDP constitution, wrote into itself in 2009 the principle of rotation of presidential power between North and South Nigeria. Wike did not insist on that. He believed that if he pushed that angle, he may have a problem, with the interest of the Southeast, given the fact that in this dispensation alone, that Southwest has produced president and vice in the person of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. That and of course Professor Yemi Osibajo, who is the current VP, who will round off a tenure of 8 years as Vice President of Federal Republic of Nigeria next year. God willing. Then the South has also produced the President and Vice President of Nigeria in the person of a good luck Ebele Jonathan. So both morality and common sense really dictated that if he must go south, that is the ticket of the PDP, and it was bound to go to southeast. Wike saw a booby trap there and tried to avoid it by encouraging that the ticket be thrown open. You see where the problem started? Rather than negotiate with the same people and insisting on what is right, and social justice, equity, and fairness, he encouraged the party to abandon its own constitution and throw the presidential ticket of the PDP open to the whole country. Atiku Abubakar threw a challenge. Atiku Abubakar said, look, if we are indeed talking about zoning, and zoning to the south, that it is not right to say zoning to the south, that we should all agree that it is zoning to the southeast, the only zone in the south that is yet to produce either a president or a vice in this dispensation. That once that is done, that himself would step down from the race. Nobody took that challenge from the entire south. Now, Wike was there when they set up a committee, Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyim committee on zoning or sharing of political party offices. He was there. They did that and zoned the office of the party chairman to north. He was there when they didn't pay the office of the national chairman of the PDP to the presidential ticket of the party. Because if that committee insisted that, look, this South produces a presidential ticket, North takes the national chairmanship. He didn't insist on that. He didn't stop there. PDP set up another committee headed by His Excellency Governor Samuel Ortom, right? The Ortom committee, it was to decide or recommend or advise on where the presidential ticket of the PDP should be zoned to. Wike was there. There was a representative from each state of the federation, including the FCT, making the Autumn Committee a 37-man committee. The man that represented Rivers in the Autumn Committee was put there by Wike. The man voted that the party ticket should be thrown open. I don't know if you get my point. In fact, when the committee was done with their job, Autumn addressed a press conference flanked by members of the committee, where he said that the committee unanimously agreed to, even though he didn't say it was, they unanimously agreed on the position which they were going to recommend to NEC. Now, NEC, National Executive Committee of PDP, told the world that they accepted the recommendation of the Autumn Committee. I don't know if you see the simple logic. Sure. He said they accepted the recommendation of the Autumn Committee. What is the recommendation of the Autumn Committee? That the presidential ticket of the PDP should be thrown open to the whole country. This was an affront on the PDP constitution. This says that the ticket of the PDP should rotate between North and South Nigeria. Wike was there. The person he sent to the Autumn Committee voted that the party ticket should be thrown open. The person he sent to the Ugwanye Committee voted that the chairmanship of the party should be sent to the North and the office of the president should be left open. What did Wike do? If Wike, if we really understand the overarching influence of Wike in the PDP, you can see that he dribbled himself he dribbled until he played himself out of the game. Wike committed one gross error of judgment. You know what that was? Wike believed that he could get the ticket, if thrown open. He had two fears. Number one is that if it was zone south, sentiment would be on the southeast, and somebody like Atiku Abubakar was very likely to back Peter Obi. Very, very likely. In fact, he was already saying it, that this thing has to be zone southeast or we all struggle for it together. That was what Atiku said. And Atiku naturally would have gone for Peter Obi. He was his vice presidential candidate and a very strong ally. So he would be glad to be, part of the making of a Peter Obi presidency. When Wike and others and some others got away with this subterfuge, Peter Obi left the PDP because he knew that the presidential ticket of the PDP was going to be auctioned and he was not going to be part of it. That was what happened. Peter Obi left the PDP because of Wike. Now, the same Wike now underestimated the political sagacity of somebody like Atiku Abubakar. Look, when did Wike even start politics? To begin to hope to match the capacity of Atiku Abubakar in struggling for the presidential ticket of the PDP. Atiku Abubakar started way back in 1983, if you go back in history. And Wike just came up as Minister of State for Education just some 10 years ago. Do you understand that? Now he trusted in his war chest because he knows that Rivers State has so much money and he has been throwing their money around. He went to Sokoto when there was a fire disaster in Sokoto. He told 500 million. He went when there was this Fulani massacre in Benue. He told 200 million. And I also understand that he has been giving money to, not only Benue, but to a number of states. You recall that all this while, the man Wike, he has been bringing all manner of people to commission his projects. That was a subtle presidential campaign, trying to get people to see that this is Mr. Project. If he can do this in Rivers, he can do this in Nigeria. That's fine. But then, in winning the presidential ticket of a political party and in winning the election itself to become the president of a country, popularity is not enough. Popularity comes a distant third in determining that, and people must understand this. And it played out very well when when the political sagacity of Atiku Abubakar, came to deliver, that the technical knockout when Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal stepped down for him. It became an icing on the cake, and Wike was stunned. He never saw that coming. But that is politics for you. If Wike had understood that in politics, in democracy, no one man is enough, he should have understood that the solidarity of Southern Nigeria was what he needed. If you cannot get Southern Nigeria to agree that you should run, then you leave it. There's no way you can get it without them. But Wike started, in fact, he has been fighting almost everybody. He came out, he told the world that he's not even an Igbo man, that is from Benin. History has it that Benin people say they have nothing to do with the Ikwere people. You understand that? He said that there was nothing. He was not an Igbo man, and is in proclaiming that you're not an Igbo man, you still hope to have them to vote for you. That's a problem. Men like Amechi keep insisting that I'm Igbo and nobody will deny me my Igbo ancestry. Ifan Yokowa keeps insisting that nobody can deny me my Igbo ancestry. That I'm from a Eka Igbo, and the Eka is a variant of Igbo language and all that. So this man went the other way around. I'm trying to get you to see why Atiku was even weary in taking him as a vice president. Now, there are certain policies that Wike has been pursuing. If you know you're not presidential ambition, there are things you can't do until you get to power. Take, for instance, his position on things like VAT and so on and so forth. That position of his on VAT, as a Southerner, I loved it. But the North will not like it because it will depress the income, the economy of the North. And you expect to be the president of the same North. So Atiku had to put all these things into consideration. And then his temperament is yet another problem. You see, the office of the vice president is a subdued office. It's an office where the occupier cannot be heard. You can only be seen. You can only be heard through your principal, the president, because you cannot afford to have two captains in a ship. In a presidential democracy, there is no collective responsibility. It's not like a parliamentary system. In a presidential democracy, it is the president that is the head of the country. No, he doesn't share that glory with anybody. His vice has no constitutional role, to share limelight, share glory, share powers with the president. Given this job description, do you see Wike and somebody that can play that kind of role? Wike will come and sit down in the presidency and say nothing for 4 years. It's impossible. The Wike I know will not stand that. He can't survive it. So why should Wike insist on president or vice president? The only thing I see that Wike is after is immunity, not even the office. He wants to be immune from prosecution. He doesn't want to be harassed after leaving governorship of Rivers and so on and so forth. So what tells him that the APC is bound to retain power? As of today, the three major contenders to the office of the president, any of them can become the president of Nigeria. The way things stand today, anything 6 months is a light number of years, light years in politics. Peter Obi stands a chance. Atiku stands a chance. Tinubu stands a chance. Do you know why I say so? The Constitution is very, very weak where it recommends those who will become the president of Nigeria. It's only two conditions that the Constitution has provided to determine who becomes the president of Nigeria. The first is that you have to score 25% of the votes in 24 states. Do you know that these 4 men can score 25% of the votes in 24 states? Check it, look at it.
And you go for a runoff.
And no, you won't go for a runoff. Because the second provision of the Constitution says amongst the people that have 25% of 24 states, whoever has the simple majority becomes the president of Nigeria. Simple majority here means 1 vote. Can't you see how dicey the whole thing is? Nobody can tell me that the 22 states of the APC will not be able to give Tinubu 25%. I can't see any permutation that a governor will not be able to deliver 25% of votes to his own state, to his own party. It's impossible.
Suppose he's an aggrieved governor.
If it's an aggrieved governor, until we see that he has defected and is aggrieved and he doesn't want to work for his party. Do you understand what I'm saying? And of course, until that happens, we haven't seen that yet. Atiku Abubakar, 19 northern states and FCT. It's a given that you get 25% enough. Tell me one where you cannot get 25%. And the PDP states in southern Nigeria, there are about 6. Each of them should be able to give Atiku Abubakar 25%. And Peter Obi, the way he is surging, is likely to get 24 states also. So the constitution is very weak where it comes to. If the constitution had said 50%, I would say, or even 35%, 25% is too small. What that means is that the 3 of them are very likely to get 25%. Do you understand what I'm saying? The runoff will happen if one gets a simple majority but is not able to get 24 states. That is what will now force a runoff between the two, the first and the second. That is what would precipitate that.
I think Wike is like a child that when you beat up a child, that child will be crying, obviously. And to keep that child quiet is to find a candy or a lollipop to quieten that child. Wike has been beaten and he is crying. So I think to heal him is to find something to, keep, to bring him back. He needs something. He needs something. They need to give him something to hold for him to, come around. But I think he's a sore loser because you can't just lose and you want to abandon your party. That is not how politics is being played. In other countries, you can't see a Democrat trying to join a Republican because he lost. But that is the reality in Nigeria. That's how election is being played. They jump from one party or the other, which I think, again, INEC should make it, they should stop it. If you lose election, you stay with your people. You can't lose a game and you abandon your team. That is not the right way. So I think that is how to heal Wike. But again, I think healing Wike in this present election that is coming now is inconsequential. It doesn't matter whether he is healed or not. It's inconsequential. PDP, I think, is not going nowhere. The mistake PDP did, which I'm happy, was when they give the ticket of their party to Atiku Abubakar. Because I think that Nigeria don't see Atiku finish. What did Atiku want to tell us again when we never hear? So that's the great mistake they did, given that he should have insisted that this ticket should be zoned to South, right? Yes. So, and again, like your guest said, there is no way he can match Atiku Abubakar's political sense. He can never match it. Atiku has been in that game before him. So, yeah, it's self-inflicted.